All right, guys, we've loaded into the Halcyon Fold. So with that, let's toss it over to our casters. Shinyi, Four-Court Jester, take it away.
Rome is totally wrong. I want that to be a hashtag for sure, Shinyi, because this is double fortress.
Yeah, well, you should get on a t-shirt then, maybe. Well, if both
Next
of these
live
teams,
championships.
I hope so. I'll get it for you actually. Both of the teams love Fortress, and I'm sure they've been itching to play that Fortress. And like you said, double Fortress. Both of the teams have been playing Fortress every single game from the round of 32 to now with the quarterfinals. And we see Aloha with that Cruel against I Love Joseph on that Sky, which definitely seems to be a comfort pick for I Love Joseph.
Well, this is, I've seen Aloha on the Crow before, and Dienzio, I mean, I said this a little bit earlier, Ringos, Voxes, Scarfs, big, heavy hitters seem to be the way to go. Now, I've also seen Dienzio actually jungling and laning Krolls, and I'm not exactly big fans of those, but still, coming into this one, old school on the Glaive. I Love Joseph on that Sky. As you said, comfort pick seems to be the way to go here for Excrucio.
Yeah, and we've got DNZ on that Scarf. And if we look at the past games from Nemesis Excrucio, their top banned hero has been Scarf. So I'm not sure if they really don't like playing against Scarf. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be playing against, well, DNZO and a Scarf who played an absolute insane last game there. So it's going to be very curious to see, especially when Scarf is such a scary hero. We've been seeing so much of him in the qualifiers. He's a bit like Glaive as well. He's just doing so well competitively that he's going to be that he's going to be very tough for Excrucio to play against him.
All right, so both teams are actually going to be going through each other's jungles, and it does look like the Halcyon Hammers crew is going to port all the way back, but at the same time, we also had Old School come down, pick up a little bit of farm himself. Now, at the same time, Dianza is going to be heading on back, and Cautious seems to be the name of this early game once more. There has been a little bit of an attempt on Dianza's life in the lane, because all three were there for a brief moment, but so far, it does look like everyone's just more focused on farm rather than action.
Cautious definitely seems to be the right word as we see Dienzio picking up the very early travel boots instead of opting for crystal damage. So he's obviously using that to get away if Old School decides to use his afterburn on him. So they're staying very safe.
How did Aloha know that was there? That Aloha. These guys are almost in each other's heads. I feel like these guys now, not only have they played multiple matches today, but they just seem to be very in tune with what each other is thinking.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're no stranger, and they've, both of these teams have quite a lot of video footage of them playing. Oh, rip.
I Love Joseph comes in for the kill. Wow, I'm not entirely too sure how I feel about that, but Aloha at the same time, Azadox is going to get hit by that scout trap and not steal anything. Aloha can probably take down Azadox at this point, but it's all about I Love Joseph. Can he get over there? Because that is a lot of damage now, just kind of landing on top of the wolf. And, well, Old School's going to be coming. That's a 3-man, but it doesn't matter. Aloha actually gets the kill. Veins is going to stay totally clear of this. He's not going to join this party whatsoever.
He's gonna be like, I'm not interested in doing anything. See ya, Aloha. No big deal. It's not like
Dienzio, though.
Yeah, Dienzio. Dienzio, what are you doing, Dienzio? He's just going into their farm and just taking all, which is what he should be rightfully doing, to be honest. But it does get risk being caught out there by I Love Joseph.
Well, risk maybe, but remember, all three just went in for that jungle invade to get the kill, and they only traded out 1-1. They didn't get the backs. They only got a 1-1, and then Scarf was able to come and take their backs. This is actually a much better trade going over to House on Hammers.
I've just noticed, I don't know if it's been said before, but this is looking very similar to the favorite EU composition on Velocity here. Scarf and the Crew, very familiar.
You like to talk a lot about EU, don't you? Do you miss EU?
Just sometimes feels like home to me. But this is like the game we saw in the finals of the second winter qualifiers, Scarf and Cruel. It was all about Scarf and Cruel. And
Yep, the 3-man stop says no dice. Azadox, you're not going anywhere. He is going to burn. That's going to be a kill there to Dienzio as well, as we do go 2-2 for that scoreboard. But Old School is just going to try to shove up a little bit. He's going to take some fire damage for his trouble, but no huge invade coming in. Veins and Aloha not going for those backs. They're actually biding their time. They will steal up the fronts, though.
Yeah, well, fronts is all they should be focusing on, especially a Cruel against a Sky in the jungle. She may be dead, but she can easily take down Cruel very easily. Cruel's very weak so far. He's got the Dragon Heart. He's got some light shield and light armor there, but all he has is attack speed, and this is very typical of Cruel. He's not going to be doing as well in the early game or mid game as a Sky will, and it's all about the late game for Velocity's composition here.
5-minute minion mine, probably going to have to get answered here fairly shortly, but Vayne's and Aloha, all right, Old School's going to come in. Will he actually pick that up? He does. That's a steal right there. So level 6 for that glaive, not quite 6 for Dienzio yet, and with that 3-man, there's just absolutely no way we were going to contest it. So the House on Hammers will still get their backs, but they did actually lose out that 1 from Old School.
Old School's doing quite well in farm. If you compare it to DNZO's, he's on 47, compared to Old School's 64. And we've also seen Old School rotating down a lot, so he's just obviously doing well. You know, Scarf is not the easiest hero to farm on, especially compared to a glaive.
Maybe early on, but I feel like, you know, Scarf, after he gets a whole bunch of crystal power under his belt, it's just not going to be a problem whatsoever.
And we see Velocity just heading down. DNC's sitting on a lot of gold there. Quite interested to see what he'd be picking up as his first item. Looks like it's going to be a broken myth as he picks up the piercing shard.
So, I mean, what do you do for your Scarves? Like, what do you see a lot of? Because broken myth feels like something that we do see quite a bit.
Well, before in previous updates, you will see people opting for broken myth second, but not usually first. They'll go for like maybe a shard glass or frostburn first.
Aloha didn't get that. Aloha did not get that, and he's going to be able to cash in just a little bit longer. And he is unfortunately just, I mean, he paid for it. He looked to stick around. He wanted to get that farm. Unfortunately, he just didn't get it. The 3-man collapse again. Nemesis Excrucio really just committing to trying to shut down this scroll.
And Dienzio looks to be on the wrong side of everything. I don't know if there's going to be looping under, but I Love Joseph is just trying to get right in there.
And Dienzio stunned and double stunned. The Old School is just going to have his number. This is actually going to be a 3-man cleanup. Nemesis Excrucio with just a really good set of decisions right there. They go in, they get that engage, they take down the Kroll, and then just very quickly pick up another 2-0. This puts them up to 5-2 and a gold mine on top of it.
Yeah, we're seeing Veins picking up the fountain as well. So this is at 7 minutes. Nemesis
getting...
Oh, well, they got it there. Very close there for Aloha. But this is what's similar to what we saw last game. Velocity seemed to start lower behind Excrucio, but they were able to pull ahead nonetheless. And I think we're going to be seeing something similar this time. DNZO is very good at what he does, and his teammates are even better at protecting him.
5 score to 2, and looking at something close to 2,500 gold between these teams. That gold mine, if that had been stolen, it would have been a little bit of a different story, but Aloha just couldn't get there quick enough, and that gold miner did an extreme amount of damage, not only up against Ezidox, but I Love Joseph as well. So just a little bit too late, and Nemesis Excrucio still going to be holding this pretty hard and fast lead.
Yeah, and Old School just drawing ahead in the farm. So he's 96 to DNZO's 69. And I think this is because DNZO knows that Ezidox is in lane with Old School. He doesn't want to get caught out. He's staying far behind. And he is losing farm because of this.
Very reminiscent of game number 1. In game 2 on that box, he was really just on par. And as you saw by the end of it, they were able to bring out that win. But this, in game number 1, I mean, as soon as you get DNZO behind the wheel, it's just very painful for him to kind of bounce back, it seems.
Yeah, and they're just doing such a good... Excrucio just doing such a good job of harassing. I feel like Aloha's not getting any meaningful damage down, and DNZO's just being forced behind his turret all the time. I just feel like Excrucio just more in control of this game at this moment right now. Yeah. And they're going on the gold mine consistently. We're just not seeing any contest from this at all by Velocity.
Now, how many scout traps actually do we have down? If you look around, there's quite a few red. Don't see a lot blue, though. And another decent gold payout, as you said, every time. If they can get decent, once a minute or so, you're adding, what, 300 gold per minute to your entire team?
Something like that. This is just similar to the first 2 games that we've seen between these 2 teams. Excrucio just seems to be the ones that are just creeping ahead slowly every single time, and we're seeing very passive play coming out from Velocity, which is kind of surprising for me.
Dienzio's throwing quite a few Spitfires over at Ezidox, and because of that, I mean, he's not really losing out on farm, but he's definitely not making any kind of push. Now, here's the rest of his team, and with just so much vision out, I mean, we're not running into a lot of these scout traps, and these scout traps are providing... How did we not run into that one? Yeah, seriously. Wow, super seriously. It's just like we have their numbers. Nemesis Excrucio knows exactly where Halcyon Hammers is, pretty much 100% right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of disappointing to see Vayne's not actually checking for the usual scout trap positions, because it's not like Excrucio are just putting them in really obscure places. They're putting them now in the common places, and Vayne's is not checking out for them, and that is to the detriment of Velocity. They're giving away the position and any advantage.
They tried. Aloha actually did pick up that farm, so he's not going to be sticking around. Old School is just going to give that one up. Looks like they want to shove out this top, but Dancio will be there to pick it up. And 91 to the 123, consistently staying behind 30, but he's not really, having more farm loss. Good reflex. That's going to keep Dancio alive, and that's actually very important right here. Death from above to go and just kind of gunk up this engage, but Ezidox is just going to burn absolutely, and no, Old School. Oh, so very close. The burn is just not going to be there. I Love Joseph will drop down, and Old School has nowhere to go. I think Vayne's, neither does Vayne's at this point, but that's going to be an ace, and that is finally a little bit of good news for the Halcyon Hammers.
Yeah, a little bit caught out there for Vaynes as he was just kind of stuck in the middle with nowhere to go. But that we just saw there the absolute beauty of a Dragon's Breath on a Scarf who's fully stacked up in Broken Myth. He could just, he went in there with very, very little health, but he was able to annihilate Old School and Ezidox very easily.
It did look pretty easy, didn't it?
He made it look easy, but he was so low when he went in. It would have been easy for any of them to pick up the kill. But when you just see this dragon coming at you with this Dragon's Breath, you kind of just want to back away at this point.
The big thing was Dancio on that reflex block. That was really what made that fight right there, because Old School didn't lock him down and they weren't able to take him out. And we've seen, if you can't kill the Dancio, he has a really big knack of actually killing you. And so either way, I mean, if we can continue doing that, Halcyon Hammers, really good chance of coming back into this one. Now, we do got that flare, gold mine, not even a chance. Another decent gold payout goes out, and that's another, 400, 500 gold for the team. And they kind of need that at this point, considering what just happened in the last team fight.
Yeah, so they may have lost the turret, but they're getting the gold mines every time, so it doesn't matter that they're still ahead in gold. But I think the important thing is that even though DNZO is consistently behind in farm compared to Old School, he's actually still doing remarkably well, thanks to his teammates Aloha and Vaynes are just doing a very good job of frontlining for him.
And between Vaynes and Danzia, I mean, the bleed and burn can really just chunk down somebody over time. That's a lot of percentage health that you can capitalize on.
Yeah, I was just lost my words there. Mind
What, you
blank.
don't like bleed and burn?
Oh, I don't like bleed and burn. Actually, very nice combo of words. I like it. It rolls off the tongue easily.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, I'll give you full credit for that one. They're just seeing DNZO getting some nice damage there using his Spitfire, poking away their Ezidox. And this is the beauty of Scarf. The poke damage is absolutely insane. He's going to be stacking up in Broken Myth, with this as long as he continues to poke. But Excrucio not there to be poked at.
And so that is going to be a big thing as well. I mean, again, is there a reflex? Nope. I don't even know where the dragon is. Okay, he's back at home, so that wasn't actually the big target I thought they were going for. But now Old School, I mean, he's going to have to wait for that afterburn to come back up. Thankfully, it's back up now. Dienzio is actually here as well. The 3v2 could have been very detrimental to Halcyon Hammers, but they had no idea where Dienzio was. So erring on the side of caution has never kind of thrown a fight, but Nemesis have kind of been stalled out.
Yeah, well, there's still, they may be a bit stalled out, but they are still in control of that jungle. When was the last time we saw Velocity head down here? Very long time ago, to be honest. They're really just starting on the back foot again. Excrucio just in command, but they do need to be careful. I've said before, this is a relatively new team. I kind of see them as the kind of NA's version of Gangster Cerberus, where you have 3 very strong players, but they're newly formed, haven't had much experience playing together.
I still think that Nemesis Excrucio is the Velocity of this season because the Winter Championships was the rise of Velocity, at least in my books. Because they did extremely well. They had all this hype, and then they proved themselves. Nemesis Excrucio, if they can do this, I'm going to maintain with that. I mean, these guys are something of rising stars. They're very highly talked about. They have insane KDAs. Their mechanics are pretty much on point, or as on point as you can get. And, if they can actually bring down the #2 placing team from the North America Championships, that's a good feather in the cap.
Well, either way, both of the teams have so much potential. This could have been a game we have seen in the finals. Actually, any of the series today could have been in the finals. These are such strong teams, and we've seen such a nice improvement coming from the last round. Like all the teams seem to have upped the bar a lot in terms of competitive play.
Both of our wolves in the bushes are just saying, okay, well, you go. No, you go. No, you go. So Ezidox is just going to burn a little bit for his trouble. Dienzio's going a little bit far forward, though. He's going to get knocked right into that wall. At least he would have been. Good blocks, and again, counter blocks coming up from the other side now as well. Nemesis Excrucio is going to be a little bit more on the back foot. Here comes the breath. The broken myth. Is that enough to burn down? I Love Joseph. You know it is. That's going to be at least 1 kill right there. The Kraken's going to spawn, but it doesn't matter. If Nemesis Old School can't run away, he will not. get hit by the Spitfire, but 2-4-0. Could he even still be the 3? I don't know why you would even stay for that. But the Bleeding Burn gonna come through. That's an ace. That's a turret. This could even be a Kraken.
Ouch, there for Nemesis Excrucio, but that was beautiful. We saw Old School coming out with the Afterburn, trying to get DNZO out of position, but DNZO was able to block it, use his boots to get to safety, and we just saw Veins and Aloha run straight in, and it just seems like Excrucio just forgot that DNZO existed until he came in with his Dragon's Breath, killing everyone.
All right, so we clean out the traps. No Kraken, but a few infusions now going to be coming down. Look at that little Scarf picking them both up. So proud. Kroll going to get that weapon. We got Glaive there as well, but again, they tried to go on DNZO, the reflex block was there, and the combo was defeated.
Yeah, and I think we've got Veins has that Warhorn as well, so you can just get DNZO to safety. You know, I just feel like all of Velocity's play is just surrounds, so hard. Is just focused on. Forwards are just focused on keeping DNZO alive because he is the main carry. It's kind of like a hyper carry role that we're seeing here, and DNZO, he just can't do no wrong. Sometimes it feels.
Ezidox, however, is going to be feeding these stacks up to 5 now as DNZO on that broken mid. Ezidox is just going to go lower and lower.
Oh
and
my god,
stop burning! If that had hit, it would have been a very dead puppy.
Yeah, well, I feel like the momentum of the game has changed. Velocity are the ones that are now a little bit more in control. They've taken turrets, they've taken 2 actually, and it looks like they're in a very good position to take that Kraken as well, which I think they will be starting. I think Excrucio do sense this, so they're going to be heading straight in for this.
Well, Old School went in first. He's going to be the guy with the big target, but we got some goop on top of that death from above. But Old School, he has to have that fountain clicking. Doesn't matter. We just turn right back around and roast us a glaive. That's going to be a 2-0 for kills. And I Love Joseph is going to be on top of that scout trap. They know exactly where he is. I'm not entirely too sure they're going to give really 2 cares for it. Aloha just doesn't take damage, it seems. Joseph, I think you've made a mistake, sir. Coming back into that one, Aloha will enable that kill, and another one going over to DNZO. This is a Kraken for the Hammer Esports, and this could be a game-winning stroke.
Yeah, I think we saw Old School we saw him getting very, very low there, and instead of backing away and just giving up this fight, he actually went back in and he got killed. Stood in the path of the Dragon's Breath and got killed. And if he just backed away a little bit earlier and just said, we're gonna lose this fight, let's just back away, this could have been that, the key could have saved the game a little bit longer.
So this is where the defense has to hold. Do we actually have enough in terms of cash to infusion? Well, Ezidox can pick up 1 if he really wants to. I Love Joseph, 450, just short. Old School already has both ready to go, and another one in the bank if he really needs it. So Nemesis are feeling a little bit more on the back foot for sure. The momentum is really, really here for the Halcyon Hammers, and now getting kicked back again, just defeating that combo. If you can't take down DNZO, then this could actually be bad, and here comes the Fire Breath. He is doing so much damage. Joseph does get actually singled out. He's now going to be making an exit a little bit. Could he actually turn back around for the Veins? DNZO is just saying, no, Ezidox, you're not going to get one at all. Aloha is chasing off Old School, and the Kraken has taken out another turret. Ezidox is going to burn.
I don't know if he's gonna make it out. He's still alive. He's still alive. He's gonna live through that. But we saw the Afterburn coming out from Old School. But it blocked. DNZO didn't block it, but he was able to block the death from above from I Love Joseph, and the regen coming out from his Eve. And what is going on?
Nobody's dead. Nobody's actually dead. Veins is coming down real low. Joseph is going to be the trade there. And DNZO up against Ezidox, I think they might just trade themselves. They do. We still have a Kraken here, remember. Aloha is going to try to make this work. Weakness stacks need to really come through here. On top of Old School, the stun. The counter stun. You're not going to get that Afterburn. This is it. Halcyon Hammers, I don't think, are going to go down. And now with that Kraken, you got to do something here, Old School. They are so split. The Kraken's going to come down low. Aloha is just not going to die. And the crystal does go down. That is game.
That was insane there. I can't even.
Old School got the kill at the same time, but it didn't matter.
I just can't understand. That was such a tough spot for Old School. He was like, do I go for the Kraken or do I go for Aloha? It's just being a massive bother. Really tough decision making. I don't know if there's anything he could have done to perhaps stop the loss, to be honest.
Nobody died in the engage up by the choke. And then we had trade-offs. 2 for 2. Leaving us with a Kraken and a Kroll. And without the range to do it and the counter stun from the Afterburn, there was no way Glaive was going to hold that. That was phenomenally done. Well played from both teams. They really gave it their all. And it does look like #Humanist was right for once.
I'm sure Rome will be very sad to hear about
Rome
that.
is totally wrong. I want to see that. I really, really want to see that. Speaking of Rome, Shinyi, let's take a little bit of a break and throw it back to the guy who was really, really wrong back at the lair.
Well, thank you once again, Forecourt Jester Shinyi, doing an excellent job calling the plays there.